Tag TV brings you daily news bulletin from India. Breaking news and views from India.
You're watching South Asia NEWSLINE and here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Monday, the 18th of November. PM Modi arrives in Brazil for G20 summit, receives grand welcome by Indian diaspora. Lankan president reappoints Harini Amarasuriya as Prime Minister, keeps Finance Minister role. And Nepal's ruling party slams Delhi's accusations, defends visit to China as independent diplomacy. And now for all the details. After wrapping up a productive visit to Nigeria, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Monday arrived in Brazil on the second leg of his three-nation visit, during which he will attend the G20 summit. Alongside Modi, Chinese President Xi Jinping, US President Joe Biden will be among the leaders attending the summit on November 18th and 19th. The Prime Minister received an enthusiastic welcome from the Indian community in Rio de Janeiro upon his arrival. The diaspora greeted him with Indian flags, paintings and memorabilia, showcasing their deep connection to their homeland. India, as a key member of the G20 Troika alongside Brazil and South Africa, has been instrumental in shaping the agenda for this year's summit. Building on the success of the G20, New Delhi Leaders' Declaration and Voice of the Global South Summits, PM Modi is expected to present India's stance on several global issues during Monday's deliberations. Indian Home Minister Amit Shah convened a high-level meeting in New Delhi on Sunday following reports of renewed violence in Manipur, a northeastern state. The latest unrest began after security forces discovered 3 bodies in a river on Friday, believed to be members of the majority Meitei community. According to Meitei representatives, the victims were part of a family of 6 allegedly captured by members of the Kuki ethnic group. The incident sparked widespread anger, with mobs targeting the homes of at least 9 lawmakers. Authorities have arrested 23 individuals in connection with the ransacking and arson of lawmakers and ministers' residences. In response to the escalating tension, an indefinite curfew was imposed on Saturday and internet and mobile services were suspended after protesters attempted to storm several lawmakers' homes, including that of Chief Minister N. Biren Singh. Protesters are demanding accountability for the violence and have criticized Chief Minister Singh for failing to resolve the ongoing crisis. The National People's Party, an ally of the ruling BJP, has also questioned Singh's handling of the situation and has withdrew the support from Biren Singh government. Since May 2023, inter-communal clashes between the Meitei and Kuki communities have claimed at least 250 lives and displaced over 60,000 people. The state has become sharply divided into 2 ethnic enclaves, the Meitei-controlled valley and the Kuki-dominated hills, separated by a no-man's land monitored by federal forces.
हमने गवर्नमेंट से ये डिमांड किया है कि 48 घंटे के अंदर में जो कल्प्रिट्स हैं, जिन्होंने जो है औरतें और जो बच्चों को जो किडनैप करके उनका जो हत्या किया है, उनको पकड़ा जाना चाहिए। अगर 48 घंटे के अंदर में उनका जो कोई एक्शन नहीं हुआ, अगर नहीं पकड़ा गया, तो हमारा ये हंगर स्ट्राइक कंटिन्यू चलता रहे।
With the opposition PTI gearing up for a massive protest on November 24, the Shehbaz Sharif government has expressed willingness to hold talks with incarcerated former Prime Minister Imran Khan. Speaking to the media, Pakistan's Defence Minister Khwaja Asif said that the government's doors for negotiations with Khan's PTI remain open. However, he claimed that Khan is only interested in talking to the establishment rather than engaging with politicians. Criticizing the opposition party for pressuring the government to release the former Prime Minister, Asif accused PTI leaders of hypocrisy. He alleged that during past protests, PTI leaders abandoned their workers, leaving them to face law enforcement agencies' actions to maintain order. Last week, the jailed former Prime Minister called for a massive demonstration in Islamabad on November 24, urging supporters to demand the annulment of the 26th Amendment. However, the government has dismissed the protest as another likely failure, similar to PTI's previous demonstrations. And a ban on deforestation in Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir imposed by the government has left communities living near forest struggling to meet their basic fuel needs. While the move aims to curb deforestation and protect the environment, locals argue that their hardships have been ignored in a process. A report.
Residents in Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir have expressed their anger towards the ban on deforestation as it has left communities living near forest struggling to meet their basic fuel needs. Residents living near the forest heavily depend on wood for fuel. With the ban in place and no affordable alternative fuel options provided, families are left in a dire situation. Many households cannot afford expensive cooking gas cylinders, leaving them without a practical solution to meet their energy needs. Adding to the frustration is the fact that large quantities of forest wood have been rotting in areas like Chinari since 1980. Despite the obvious wastage, the government has not taken steps to make this wood available for public use, further intensifying the struggle of the people.
रियासत जम्मू कश्मीर के 75% रकबे पर एक दौर में जंगलात पाए जाते थे, जो आज कम होकर सिर्फ 10.5% पे आ गए हैं। तो जंगलात की अहमियत के हवाले से हमारे रियासत जम्मू कश्मीर में जो अहमियत थी, एक दौर में हमारी रियासत का जो पूरा नज़्म व नस्क था वो सिर्फ जंगलात की आमदन पे मुनहसर था, जो कि आज हमारी 47 की डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन के बाद जो हमारे ऐसे में ये जो रकबा आया है या इलाका आया है, इसके ऊपर इस कदर बेदरेग और इस कदर लापरवाही के साथ जंगलात जो काटे गए हैं, आज 75% से 10% पे आ गया है। जो रहने वाले जो जंगलात के करीब रहने वाले लोग हैं, उनकी जो ईंधन की ज़रूरत है उसको मुहैया करने के लिए या उसको पूरा करने के लिए हुकूमत ने कोई मनसूबाबंदी नहीं की है, बस सिर्फ जंगलात पे पाबंदी लगा दी है। आज जो आवाम है बेचारे वो अपने दरख्त काटने से भी जो है ना वो कासर हैं, उनको वो भी काटने नहीं दिए जा रहे हैं। ईंधन की जो उनकी ज़रूरत है उसको कोई मद्देनज़र रखा नहीं।
For the people of Chinari and other parts of POJK, the struggle is not just about preserving the environment, but about surviving in a landscape that has been stripped of the resources they once relied on. With the forest gone and no alternatives in sight, their future looks increasingly uncertain.
Sri Lankan President Anurakumara Dissanayake retained the key finance minister portfolio and reappointed Harini Amara Suraya as Prime Minister on Monday as the Indian Ocean island nation targets stronger recovery from a draining financial crisis. Dissanayake, whose leftist coalition won a record 159 seats in the 225-member parliament in a general election last week, also reappointed veteran legislator Vijita Herath to helm the Foreign Affairs Ministry. A delegation from the IMF is in Colombo for a third review of its $2.9 billion program that is expected to release a tranche of about $337 million. The new parliament will meet on Thursday to elect a speaker, and Dissanayake will present his key policy priorities to the newly minted lawmakers. A nation of 22 million, Sri Lanka was crushed by a 2022 economic crisis triggered by a severe shortage of foreign currency that pushed it into a sovereign default and caused its economy to shrink by 7.3% in 2022 and 2.3% last year. The president will have to present an interim budget in the next few weeks, as well as find ways to reduce taxes and increase welfare, which were his key election pledges, without derailing the IMF program. As Bangladesh interim leader Muhammad Yunus marked 100 days in office, in an address to the nation, he said that the roadmap for the next general elections in Bangladesh would be unveiled once electoral reforms were completed. Political parties, including the Bangladesh Nationalist Party, led by former Prime Minister Khaleda Zia, have been pressing the interim government for a clear plan to hold a national election as soon as possible. About 1,500 people died in protests that brought down Bangladesh's longest-serving Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina this year, and as many as 3,500 may have been forcibly abducted during her regime, said Yunus on Sunday. UNIS vowed to ensure justice for victims, adding that the government had begun efforts to bring those responsible for the disappearances and killings and the July-August violence to international courts. The protest, which began in July as a student-led movement against public sector job quotas, escalated into some of the deadliest unrest since Bangladeshi independence in 1971, forcing Hasina to flee to India. Yunus reiterated in his address that his government's commitment to demanding Hasina's extradition from India.
নিশ্চিত নই সংস্কার প্রস্তাব সমূহ বাস্তবায়নের সুযোগ আমরা কতটুকু পাব। তবে আমি আপনাদের কথা দিচ্ছি, আপনারা সুযোগ দিলে প্রয়োজনীয় কিছু অত্যাবশ্যকীয় সংস্কার কাজ শেষ করেই আমরা আপনাদের কাঙ্ক্ষিত নির্বাচন আয়োজন করব। ততদিন পর্যন্ত আমি আপনাদের ধৈর্য ধারণ করার অনুরোধ করব। আমরা চাইব আমরা যেন এমন একটি নির্বাচন ব্যবস্থা সৃষ্টি করতে পারি যা যুগ যুগ ধরে অনুসরণ করা যাবে। এর ফলে সাংবৎসরিক রাজনৈতিক সংকট থেকে আমাদের দেশ রক্ষা পাবে। এই জন্য প্রয়োজনীয় সময়টুকু আমি আপনাদের কাছ থেকে চেয়ে নিচ্ছি। বিপ্লব চলাকালে প্রায় ১,৫০০ ছাত্র শ্রমিক জনতার শহীদী মৃত্যু হয়। আমাদের সরকার প্রতিটি মৃত্যুর তথ্য অত্যন্ত যত্নের সাথে জোগাড় করছে। এই বিপ্লবে আহত হয়েছে ১৯,৯৩১ জন। আহতদের জন্য ঢাকার ১৩টি হাসপাতাল সহ বিভিন্ন বিশেষায়িত হাসপাতালে চিকিৎসার ব্যবস্থা করা হয়েছে। প্রতিদিনই তালিকায় আরও নতুন নতুন শহীদের তথ্য যোগ হচ্ছে, যারা স্বৈরাচারের আক্রোশের শিকার হয়ে এই পৃথিবী ছেড়ে চলে গেছেন।
Days after Nepal's opposition leader Pushpa Kamal Dahal accused Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli of favouring China over maintaining a balanced relationship with India, Oli's party, the CPN-UML, has demanded an apology for his remarks. In an interview with The Hindu, Dahal criticized Oli's upcoming visit to China, calling it a sign of the current administration's immaturity and its failure to recognize Nepal's unique ties with India. He also stated that Nepal's current trajectory, especially in its relationship with India following his government's ouster, is problematic. Reacting to Dahal's comments, the CPN-UML labelled the accusations baseless and harmful to Nepal's foreign policy. In the statement, the ruling party emphasized that Nepal, as a sovereign nation, does not require external approval for its diplomatic engagements. It further stated that Oli's visit to China reflects Kathmandu's independent foreign policy rather than what Dahal termed as card diplomacy. Dahal's remarks undermine the delicate balance Nepal maintains with its two friendly neighbours, China and India, the statement added. Traditionally, Nepal's prime ministers visit India after assuming office, but Oli has made exceptions to his practice in the past. India, Nepal's largest economic and trade partner, has invested billions of dollars in Nepal's infrastructure, seeking to counter China's growing influence in the region. That's all in tonight's edition. We will see you same time tomorrow. Good night.
Tag TV brings you daily news bulletin from India. Breaking news and views from India.